got married and everything, and I got hurt. And my brother said, "Let's go out to Moosewood and we're gonna go get some R&R." I said, "What's that?" He said, "Rest and relaxation, or better yet, Ready Rock." Got to be more careful, man. That was the worst decision I've made in my life. I went out there and with the old gang and everything, and they was called, they was taking it and putting it on weed and everything, right? They call it lacing, That's called lacing. And that wasn't good enough for me, right? Cause in the back of my mind, I wanted something else. I wanted something that I was doing when I was 14. I wanted to go back to, I wanted that feeling that I was when I was 14 of, of blazing up, right? That's what I'm seeing smoke. That's what I wanted. But all that, man, after many years, I could never get that experience that I had when I was 14. I chased it for so many years, y'all. I chased it to the penitentiary, right? 3 times for being a deadbeat dad. Like I said, I've been in penitentiary 3 times for not paying, not doing something that I supposed to be doing, was taking care of my kids. I wanted to call myself a dad. I called myself a husband. I called myself a son. I called myself an uncle. I called myself a brother. But in all reality, I wasn't nothing. I wasn't any of them things, right? So that prodigal son, when I knew I was tired, I was sick and tired. I wasn't a bum, right? Because I didn't live on the street. I wasn't doing this, but I was doing things trying to get one more, right? I told you I believe a job, so my job was to become to get one more. So I would go in somebody's house and take over their house, right? I would become the doorman. I would become the bouncer. I would become they a piece of their furniture, right? Because I know, and I was paying them by going out copping and coming back with extra, right, with somebody else's money. So then I call myself being a dope boy, right? I call myself, but I catch myself out there fleecing people, and that's selling them fake dope.
Okay. So like the prodigal son, he was out there. They say he was out there. He was living with the pigs. Or
Yes.
he would reach an
Yes.
animal level. Tell us about your animal level.
That's
That's where
what
you was
I'm
headed.
talking about. I'm staying in places, right, that got rats running around. They got bed bugs, and I got my own house, right?
Okay.
Own apartment.
Right. Hold on. With that said, back. I love the prodigal son. It said he came to his senses. Tell us, okay, you done hit bottom. You out there with the animals. You at the pig level. The Bible say he came to his senses. When did you come to your senses?
Vern, I came to my senses March 18th, 2009, right? That's when, but actually, that's when the process, because I said, well, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go get me some help, right? Well, again, I called myself going to Dayton, trying to Salvation Army, up in Dayton, because I ain't want Cincinnati ain't here. And so I go to Dayton, and I come back and I'm doing good for 11 months and 28 days, and I catch myself, blazing up again. But this time, I was tired. I didn't want to come up with no more lies. I didn't want to come up with, no more excuses. And I walked there and I walked up and down Paddock Avenue. And as I was walking down the hill to church, a voice came to me and it says, if you keep doing what you're doing, I'm going to take my hands off of you and you're going to be free will. I knew it was God talking to me. And I kept walking. The voice came again and said, and I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about the spirits I kept off of you. So I'll go on to church. I don't tell nobody what happened. I go to church. I left church and I went home. I went to my house, my apartment that I was, that was in my name. That my sister and her husband was staying at. And I told him I'm going into treatment. So y'all got 30 days. I'm going to check myself in. So that Friday I went to the Joseph house and did an assessment. And that Monday I went into the Joseph house, March 21st, 2009.
Okay. All right. So you went to Joseph. What is Joseph House? There's a lot of
Joseph House
listeners.
is
They don't know what the Joseph House is.
Okay, the Joseph House is a treatment facility for veterans, for veterans that want to change, that want to stop doing what they're doing, want to find a way out of not going back to the war zone.
Okay.
That's what Joseph House was, and it saved my life, y'all. With God directed me there, cause I had a choice of Mighty Area Shelter or the Joseph House.
Okay.
And you know, the Joseph, I was scared because that was right in that den. That was right in. That was my jungle. Sorry, that was where I roamed at. Right, that was all I was. I got high right across the street from the Joseph House.
Okay. Okay. At the Joseph's house, what was your thought process in there? What was going through your mind while you was there? There's a lot of people right now that's in treatment, right? They listen to this. Share with them your thought process. What was you thinking? How did you feel about yourself while you was there?
When I was at the Joseph House, my first thing said I was gonna do everything that they told me to do. I was determined to do everything. I didn't understand, you know. I was determined to find out everything that it was. That it was about, you know, learning about what the reservations was, you know, learning about just turning, you know, going. I guess they had a thing to say, we had like, they fed us breakfast. They took us to the cat house, which is a treatment facility, where they took us there to eat breakfast, then transported us back to the Joseph House where we did class. Then at lunchtime, you would have to, they didn't feed you lunch, so you would either have to go to Our Daily Bread or Tom's Kitchen to eat. And God, he afforded, like it's I knew it was God, right? Guiding me, right? I knew it was only him. Because when he spoke to me going down that hill, I didn't want to find out the consequences of what he been keeping off of me. Because I knew what it was, because I recall back in the days when I was out in Lincoln Heights, I was looking in the mirror, and if the drain wasn't down in the sink, right? And some kept trying to pull me down the drain, trying to make me go crazy, trying to pull me down that black hole. And I wouldn't.
Mm,
I wouldn't. I knew. So at this time, I knew it was God that was guiding me through the Joseph House, right? I knew that his hands was all on me, right? Because I had preachers before telling me, they say, Brother Neil, you start out in the front of the church. Now you in the back of the church. You gonna mess around. You're gonna be on the outside looking in. And he told me, the pastor said, you're gonna be downtown selling pencils for nickel. You keep it up. And
mm-hmm,
this lady told me, she said, it was a Sunday morning. I came out and I had a glow on me. She said, what are you doing down here? You don't belong down here. She said, you're gonna mess around, you're gonna stay down here, and you're gonna allow them to change your heart. She said, you got a
mm,
glow on you. You're gonna lose all of that. And she started pointing around with like the guy sleeping on the stairway. She said,
yeah.
you're gonna wind up like him. She said, are you gonna wind up like them? I said, no, I ain't. She said, you keep staying down here and find out.
Okay.
Ain't myself, y'all.
You
Then I
see
had,
how God used people? You see how God uses people?
yes. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's a person that see me coming back and forth, and she knew my speech. The spirit touched her, right? And she didn't want to see me gravel up, you know. She didn't want to see me, you know, graveled up, right? And I
Right.
thank God for her, you know. I wish I could see her today and thank her. I'm learning that today. God uses us wherever we are at. When nobody
Okay.
place you in, God can still use you if you're allowing to. You know,
Right. Right. So you in there, okay? Did you have any thoughts about leaving early?
no, no. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I said I'm not leaving until God tell me to leave, right? I stayed at the Joseph House for 2 years, exactly 2 years and 3 days. Two
Okay.
years, 3 days. I stayed there. I did everything they said. When I was going to work and I was in treatment, after 90 days, after 90 days, I phased up to a transition. I transferred from a room of 6 people to a room of 2 people. And then from a room of 2 people to one person.
Okay.
And I got my own room that was around the corner. So, but I was doing everything that was wrong. I didn't want to use anymore. I didn't. When I went to the Joseph House, I said I wanted to become a better father. Right? My kids hated me. I've been to penitentiary 3 times. I said I want to become a better father. So I went to a program called from the Child House, the fatherhood program. So if any person in society that wants to become a better father, a better uncle, I suggest that you go to the fatherhood program ran by the Tower House. One class a week, y'all. You're gonna get a lot out of it. You know, and I became a better father. I became how to learn how to become a father to my kids. I learned how to become a grandfather to my grandkids, right? I learned
Hmm.
to become a son to my mother. I became to learn how to be an uncle to my nieces and nephews, right? And in the fatherhood program, they took me to an event called Father of the Year, my first year. And I said, wow, I want to become a Father of the Year. I want that. So I kept striving, y'all. It didn't happen right away. And that's another thing I heard God tell me. He said, long as I don't put one in me, sky's the limit.
Okay.
Sky's the limit. And guess what, y'all? I'm still going. As you look
Yeah.
at, I told you I felt that I didn't qualify to be on the show, right? I didn't feel like I was worthy enough. I did not qualify. I didn't think I was worthy enough to be on the show, right?
Now, how much sobriety or whatever you call it, clean time, how much you share with the listeners how much time you have right now?
I have 14 years, 11 months, and 23. What's the day? Hold on. What's the day's day? The day is
I
the
think it's
13th
the 13th.
and 20. And I have 11 months and 11 months. I mean 14 years, 11 months, and 23 days clean.
Okay. Cool.
I want to
Cool.
count down
Congratulations.
any of them things, right?
Congratulations. Now let me put the other part on there.
Yes,
Now
sir.
you said, okay, with 13 years, I'm talking to the listener, right? 13
It's
years. You've been through all that. You got you work in a program. It sounds like you work in a program. You said coming on, you felt like you wasn't qualified enough to be
worthy.
on here.
Yes, sir. Worthy enough. I wasn't qualified.
Okay, what wasn't worthy enough? What makes you think now the drugs gone? We done been through the war store. Okay,
Mm.
you got this clean time now. Share with the listeners what you might think was causing you not feeling worthy enough to be on here.
VL, because when I turn around, 'cause it's just like being when I got clean and I got a job, right? I got a job that I wasn't I wasn't like this. I don't have a college education. I don't have a PhD. I don't have anything, and that inner me said I'm not good enough. That's said that I'm still learning myself. I'm still growing.
Okay,
So don't get
okay,
out there, y'all. I'm still growing. I'm still learning who I am. Yeah, I'm still learning who God is directing me to be today. So
okay,
when you get some clean time, don't think that everything is peaches and cream.
okay. Now you're sharing.
The
There you
top
go.
you gave me was that we're gonna get there. The top you gave me, dealing on life terms, basically. Today,
Right,
I told you my kids hated me, right? So I said I wanted to become a better father. So in 2009, 2018, I became Father of the Year through the Tower House, right? For fatherhood program. I became Father of the Year. My kids voted to say I was worthy enough to be Father of the Year after them not hate me going to penitentiary 3 times. They started respecting me. They started. My daughter had never said she loved me, but she tell me she loves me today, y'all.
okay, okay.
But
Was this a process?
yes, it's a truly process. I told you I got clean in 2000. I started the process in 2009, and I told you
Right,
God, long as I don't put one in me, skies was the limit. I tell
right,
you overnight, and that's 9 years. That's 9 years later, from 2009 to 2018. When that happened for me, my kids started, come, be a part of me, and me become a Father of the Year, and stuff
right,
happened. Listen, I tell you, I started the job working for a job to call Sudden Change, right? Sudden Change LLC located, which would take felons and give them opportunities doing construction, clean up, and final clean. I became the general manager of that company, which I'm still part of today. But I
all
said
right,
enough, right? I said because I'm not had these titles, right? Because you had doctors on here before. I watched your podcast. You've had doctors, you've had so many people on here, and it made me feel like I wasn't, that
right.
I down.
Okay, let me jump in. Let me jump in. Okay, yeah, I had some doctors and all that stuff, right? But here's the thing: if they all recovering
Yes,
from
sir.
something.
Yes, sir.
You see what
Yep.
I'm saying? Yeah, they all recovering from something. They because see on this podcast here, but we ain't really worried about your status, right?
Right.
I ain't really worried about your degrees. I'm not really worried about the house you have. You can talk about all that, but I
Right.
want to talk about to the people that's out there struggling. See, we can relate. See, they can
Yeah.
relate to you. They can relate to the doctors, right? And that's why I'm glad you touched on your kids because
Oh.
there's some listeners right now that's listening to this, that's listening to you, and
Mm.
they want their kids back. but I heard you tell them to hold on. Okay. So say, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man. Yeah, but go ahead, man.
And I'm
Yeah.
listen, I'm so grateful, y'all, that I have not tried to come up with a bright idea to go mess my life up all over again. You know,
See.
I don't do this alone. I can't do this by myself. So I have a network of people I call, I share, I talk with. When something's going on with me, I talk to them. Me and VL, we talk. It may be doing a text. I send out text messages almost every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Operational recovery. I try to do something to keep me rooted and grounded. So when my baby brother died in 2014, I did not find a reason or excuse to go put one in me. When I got divorced, I got married and divorced in recovery at 2015. I did not use no matter what, right? When I went in,
Mm.
my step, my mom, I don't like calling her step, my other mother, right? Found her dead. I have not found an excuse to put one in me. I have not found an excuse to go out. Recently, my sister passed away. One of my closest, man, we got the same birthday, July 27th. And
Okay.
I was able to get in my car and shoot down to Huntsville, Alabama, Alabama, like that. I got there so fast they thought I flew down there, right? So, and I got a chance to spend time with my sister, and she passed while I was there. I have not found another excuse to put one in me. When I say put one in me, that's blazing up, drink, whatever. I have not found an excuse because if I do, I'm only gonna hurt myself. I'm gonna hurt myself, but I'm hurting everybody that's looking for me. That's looking at me. That's leaning on me. My mom. I got keys to my mom's house today, y'all.
Mm.
I got my name was. I'm not homeless anymore. My name was on the lease. And if you out there
Right.
fill in the post, that's fine. But chances are somebody told me I got them in the Joe's house. They said if you ain't got your name on the lease, you homeless.
Okay.
So I
All
want you
right.
to work on if I want you to work on getting your name on the lease, right? And if you're in a treatment facility, you're in transition. Don't rush. Put up with the attitudes. Put up. I know you got. Listen, we got all kind of attitudes from here, here, and here. Listen, that ain't nothing compared to putting one in you.
Mm.
Hold on, listen. Don't do it. Don't let the enemy trick you and get up here. Listen, they told me don't go upstairs without adult supervision. They said don't go up in my mind without adult supervision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So mind is a terrible thing to waste, right? Because I can be like Bobby. I can become Bobby's world in 2.3 seconds, right? But if I got if I got some guidance, if I call somebody, I'm not going upstairs by myself. I'm calling somebody to help me, to walk me upstairs, to sit up there with me while somebody trying to move my furniture around. And that's
See.
that's what we're talking about. This is my house up here, right? Your brain.
Right. Right.
Don't upstairs without adult supervision. Hold on.
Man.
I'm
Hold on. Man, listen, man. First of all, I just want to thank you, man. On behalf of the listeners, man, the followers, the subscribers, man, that follow me on all platforms, man. We just want to thank you, man. Right? We want to thank you for coming on here, being transparent. You took us through the struggle. You took us through the whole story, man. Now you giving back. There might be some people out there in recovery, man. They might want to say, you know what? I want to talk to that guy. How can they contact you?
Easy. Listen, my telephone number is 513-473-8004. That's 513-473-8004. You can look me up on Facebook, Robert Neal. I don't hardly do this. If you look me up, I'm just going to messenger me. Because I don't post, I post inspirational stuff on Facebook. I don't do all that crazy, weird stuff. Listen, I'm available. I'm available. If like I say, if I'm not available, don't stop at me. Go to the next person.